You're already an outcast, even if you don't know it yet. The feeling of being perpetually out of place isn't a defect, it's a sign that you're about to uncover something that will change the way you see yourself. Think about the last time you felt like you didn't belong. That was your consciousness whispering to you, a gentle reminder that you're not like the others. But what drives this sense of disconnection? Why do you keep doing this to yourself, trying to fit in, trying to be like everyone else? The outsider archetype, it's a concept that has been explored by philosophers and psychologists for centuries. You see, people like Nietzsche, he believed that the outsider was a necessary force in society, a force that could bring about change, that could challenge the status quo. Historical examples of outcasts and their impact on society are countless. Think about people like Galileo or Martin Luther King Jr. They were all outsiders in their own way, but they changed the world. But what is it about the outsider archetype that's so appealing? Why do we identify with it so strongly? You are both the outsider and the insider, simultaneously observing and participating in the world around you. It's a paradox, a contradiction that can be both liberating and suffocating. The psychological appeal of identifying as an outsider is rooted in our desire for autonomy, for individuality. We want to be different, we want to stand out from the crowd. But at the same time, we're afraid of being rejected, of being cast out. Why do we fear this so much? What is it about being an outcast that's so terrifying? Imagine you're walking through a crowded city, everyone's rushing to get somewhere, but you're just standing still, observing. You're the outsider, the one who doesn't belong, but in that moment, you're also the most free. You're free to think, to feel, to experience the world in your own way. But then, someone notices you, they look at you with suspicion, with distrust. You feel a surge of anxiety, a feeling of being exposed. Why does this happen? What is it about being seen that's so terrifying? So you're standing there, feeling like an outcast, and you can't shake off the feeling that you just don't belong. You try to fit in, to blend in with the crowd, but it's like your mind is constantly whispering. You're not like them. And that's when it hits you with the role of self-perception in feeling like an outcast. You see, your self-perception is like a lens that filters your experiences. It shapes how you see yourself and your place in the world. But what about societal expectations? How do they contribute to feelings of disconnection? You're expected to conform, to fit into certain molds, and when you don't, you're seen as an outsider. It's like you're constantly being pulled between being true to yourself and being accepted by others. And that tension, it can be overwhelming. Now, think about your past experiences. How have they shaped your current feelings of not belonging? Maybe you were bullied as a kid, or maybe you moved to a new town and had to start over. Those experiences can leave scars, and they can make you feel like you're always on the outside looking in. Remember the first time you challenged a belief you held dear. That was the beginning of your journey as an outsider, and it's a journey that can be both terrifying and liberating. The most profound discoveries often lie just beyond the boundaries of our comfort zones, and it's there, in that unknown, that you'll find the truth about yourself. So, what drives individuals to feel perpetually out of place? It's the constant tension between being true to oneself and being accepted by others. And it's a tension that can only be resolved by embracing your true self, no matter how scary that may seem. So you're trying to figure out why you feel like an outcast, and it's like you're not alone in this feeling. We all want to belong, to be accepted by others, but at the same time, we want to be true to ourselves. It's a constant tension, being true to who you are, and being accepted by others. You start to realize that belonging is not just about where you fit in, but about being true to who you are, no matter where you are. Belonging is not about where you fit in, but about being true to who you are, no matter where you are. Think about it, if you're trying to fit in with a group, you're going to have to compromise who you are, and that's when you start to feel like an outcast, because you're not being true to yourself. But the moment you decide to embrace your true self is the moment you'll find your true place in the world. It's like the philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre said, "Existence precedes essence, you exist, and then you figure out who you are." And that's a scary thought, because it means you have to take responsibility for who you are, and that's a heavy burden to carry. But what if you're not trying to fit in with a group, but rather, you're trying to find your own way? You're not trying to belong to something, but rather, you're trying to be true to yourself. That's when you start to feel a sense of freedom, and that's when you start to realize that being an outcast is not a bad thing, but rather, it's a sign that you're on the right path. So you're starting to realize that being an outcast isn't a bad thing, it's actually a sign that you're on the right path. But what does that journey look like? The journey of the outsider is not for the faint of heart, but for those who dare to be different, and that's what makes it so rewarding. You see, when you're an outcast, you're forced to look within, and that's when you start to discover who you really are. It's like the ancient Greek philosopher, Aristotle, said, "Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom." And that's exactly what happens when you're an outcast. You're forced to confront your own thoughts, your own feelings, and that's when you start to realize your true potential. The greatest heroes are not those who fit in, but those who dare to stand out, even in the face of adversity. Think about it. People like Martin Luther King Jr. or Malala Yousafzai, they were all outcasts in their own way, but they refused to back down, and that's what made them so powerful. Now, I know it's not easy. Being an outcast can be lonely, it can be scary, but it's also an opportunity to find your true community, to find people who accept you for who you are, and that's what makes it all worth it. So, don't be afraid to be an outcast, because it's in those moments of isolation that you'll discover your true strength, and that's when you'll realize that being an outcast is not something to be ashamed of, but something to be proud of. So you're standing at the edge of something new, something unknown. The moment you step beyond the threshold is the moment you'll discover a new world, and a new you, and that's a pretty terrifying thought, right? I mean, who knows what's on the other side, but that's what makes it so alluring. You're about to uncover a part of yourself that you never knew existed, and that's a heavy realization to come to terms with. The unknown is not something to be feared, but something to be explored, for it is in the unknown that we find our true potential, and that's a quote from Carl Jung, by the way. He believed that our true selves are hidden beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered. Now, imagine you're an ancient Greek standing at the edge of the ocean, and you have no idea what lies beyond the horizon. You've heard stories of monsters and sea gods, but you've also heard tales of hidden treasures and new lands, and that's kind of what it's like to be an outcast. You're standing at the edge of the unknown, with nothing but your wits to guide you. As you take that first step, you'll realize that the fears and uncertainties that held you back are still there, but they're no longer in control. You're in control, and that's a powerful feeling. You're about to transform into something new, something stronger, and that's a beautiful thing to experience. The threshold is just the beginning, and what lies beyond is up to you to discover. The new frontier that awaits those who embrace their outcast status, it's a place where you're no longer bound by the rules of society. You're free to forge your own path, to challenge the status quo, and to create something entirely new. As you step into this new frontier, you'll be met with possibilities and challenges that will push you to your limits. You'll have to be brave enough to take risks, to face your fears, and to trust yourself. But the reward is worth it. You'll be part of a group of outsiders who are shaping the future. People like Nikola Tesla, who was once considered a madman for his ideas, but is now revered as a genius. Or people like Frida Kahlo, who used her art to express the pain and beauty of being an outsider. The future belongs to those who are brave enough to forge their own paths, to challenge the status quo, and to embrace their true selves. You'll be part of a movement that's creating a new world, a world that's more authentic, more raw, and more real. The outsiders of today are the pioneers of tomorrow, forging new paths and creating new worlds. They're the ones who will bring about change, who will disrupt the status quo, and who will create something entirely new. As you stand at the edge of this new frontier, you're faced with a choice. You can play it safe, or you can take a leap of faith. You can follow the crowd, or you can forge your own path. But what if I told you that the greatest discoveries often lie just beyond the edge of our current understanding? What if the next great breakthrough is waiting for someone brave enough to venture into the unknown? And that's what comes next, the unknown, waiting to be uncovered by those brave enough to venture into the darkness. What lies beyond the edge of our current understanding, waiting to be uncovered by those brave enough to venture into the unknown? That's the next one.